Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadroo.com. It's your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee. With probiotics now, trying to fix the gut. Silver, obviously the silver-gold ratio has been completely out of whack. Amazing interview with Jenny Moonstone yesterday about a new concept, the gold-silver twins. It's twin ratio, it's a spiritual thing. You got to check it out. Roadroo.com on the private road. I have already posted the first half of the video, which is entitled Theta's Power. Q is still winning, and the timing of everything. Yeah, she's amazing at reading those damn cards on the road to Ruta, let me tell you. All right, let's talk about silver. It's a big weekend. Now, here's why I'm saying that. You're not seeing it in price. You're not seeing it in price, but you are seeing it in the amount of people who know what's going on now. Both on the retail side, which is you and me, all the retail investors who buy coins, and on the 1,000-ounce bar side, which is all the big money, the JP Morgan rigging job and stuff like that. I hear there's an investigation going on into GameStop and SLV, which, if the investigators had half a brain, and I hear this, the COMEX is the CFTC is actually investigating COMEX rigging again, which would put JP Morgan in a very precarious place if they are involved at all. And we all know they are involved. Who do you think controls all the warehouse silver? So yeah, they are not out of the woods as far as silver rigging. And if they made another criminal move, good night JP Morgan, RICO charges, they'll have to pay back 3 times the silver they stole, which is like 3 billion ounces. I can't think of a better way for those bastards to go down than to provide the U.S. government with 3 billion ounces of silver to give to the citizens. You want a new monetary system? There you go. All right. As you can see, silver is outperforming gold. These numbers can change in a blink of an eye. Silver can go to $1,000 an ounce in one trade. Just keep that in mind. It's a rigged market. And the only people selling are the riggers. So let's look at what the ratio is right now. 18, 15. You ever notice that gold is over 2 times its historical highs from 1980 and silver is only half? The CFTC can never see that, of course. They don't even know how to tie their shoes. The ratio is at 67. 67 going to 1-to-1 at least. And anybody who wants to have a debate on that, bring it on. Bring it on. Show me one metric other than price since the 1970s when they invented computer market rigging. One metric that points to anything above a 20-to-1 silver gold ratio. There are none. I'll tell you right now, there are many metrics on how you should determine a gold to silver ratio. The most normal, the logical mind says how much silver is available and how much gold is available. That's what should be. And that's 1-to-1. 6,000 or 6 billion ounces of gold, 6 billion ounces of silver. But the reality is all that silver is needed in the industrial side. So yes, check out the Jenny Moonstone reading because it pertains to silver in the very near term. So yeah, you're going to see this ratio collapse. I don't think it'll go 60, 50, 45, 40, 35. I think it'll collapse. It'll go from 65 to market shut down. 65 to instantly to 1-to-1 because nobody is willing to sell silver. You'd be insane to sell silver. All right. We should get a bump up. See, that's the other thing. A lot of as we've learned, a lot of the retailers, the wholesalers and retailers who sell to the public will hedge their production over the weekend. So they should be buying or selling short based on how much they bought. Is it? No, it's the other way around. They should be hedging their book. And a lot of them didn't do that a couple weeks ago, and some of them got burned pretty good. I know Andy Scheckman at Miles Franklin has loaded up. I will be talking to Andy today, and I'll post that interview on the private road along with the Ginny Moonstone silver reading. But I know Andy has loaded up. So if you need physical silver, if you're a retail buyer, send an email to Andy Scheckman, A-N-D-Y, Andy at milesfranklin.com. He's got it ready to go. And he's got more shipments coming in next week. He's not going to be caught off guard again. So he loaded up on silver just for you guys. And I don't know if they're going to sell out again this weekend. There's a lot going on. Let's talk about what's going on. This is amazing. This is the Silver ETF SLV. It is being drained of silver. This is from their own data. Look at this. The price hasn't changed in the last 7 trading days. On February 2nd, the price was $25.38. This is the price of SLV. And then on February 11th, 7 days later, it was $25.20. It basically has not changed, but 50 million ounces were drained out of the SLV. 50 million. If you were to go to the COMEX, you could not get 50 million. But you can by buying SLV shares. And if you are big enough, if you have 100,000 shares, you can redeem them for physical. So, yeah, this is a big deal. This is how somebody is attacking the silver market without making the prices go up, amazingly. Thanks to the criminal market riggers, the price is staying down. 50 million shares, 50 million ounces were delivered. Somebody bought 50 million ounces, had them delivered, it didn't even change the price. You got to love the silver market. But take a look at this. So I think this will continue to go down, even though the price isn't moving. The COMEX has a problem. As you can tell, this was that weekend. It was crazy volumes. And this is what the CFTC is investigating. It's very simple. I can tell you who did it. Vertu Financial was running all those trades, all of them, over 2 billion ounces. They're a high-frequency trading firm controlled by the deep state, Vincent Viola. As a matter of fact, little Vinny Viola is pissed off. High-frequency trader giant Vertu threatens to leave New York if foolish transaction tax is passed. First, it was the New York Stock Exchange, or rather the New Jersey Stock Exchange located in Mahwah, that threatened to flee New York if a transaction tax seeking to scalp fractions of a penny for every trade is passed. That's what Vertu Financial does. They basically scalp money from high-frequency trades. Now it's the turn of the firm whose entire business model is based on high-frequency trading, Vertu. They do not like their name in the paper. According to Bloomberg, a company which has made billions in risk-free market making by overseeing order flow nanoseconds ahead of everyone else and trading accordingly, or making markets, is ready to quit New York lawmakers if New York lawmakers implement a financial transaction tax which would enact a surcharge on stock trades to help close the projected 4-year revenue loss estimated at $39 billion. Lawmakers argued that reinstating the tax would raise about $13 billion annually, helping to avert cuts to services such as education, healthcare, and other stuff during the pandemic. A similar financial tax proposed in New Jersey has also been met with strong opposition from the finance industry, whose entire business model has been reduced to scalping the same penny fractions that local governments are now seeking to pocket. This is the chief executive of Vertu, Doug Sifu, who will probably be in jail by next year. I understand the pressure of these governments around their deficits. But the notion of transaction tax in New York is, I'll use the word foolish, because I know what we would do. I would shut this office. Good. Get the hell out of here. And don't reopen your office. High-frequency trading is legalized fraud. Legalized robbery. Why is it allowed? Because the bankers control our regulators. Speaking of that, Reddit-fueled GameStop rally is reportedly under federal investigation for possible market manipulation, and Robinhood has been subpoenaed. Who are these regulators going to regulate? Are they going to regulate the criminals? Because they haven't. They haven't, even though we've been screaming about them I've been screaming about them for 20 years. It's the most obvious thing in the world. These criminal banksters, they're set up to steal your money. Steal it. You need to get all your assets out of their game, out of the bank, out of the brokerage houses, out of your IRA. If you have an IRA, do a transfer over to a self-directed IRA. You can hold cryptos, silver, stocks, bonds, houses, whatever you want in your IRA, except it's in your own possession. In your own possession. Contact my friend Will Lair at Perpetual Assets. www.perpetualassets.com. As for Will Lair, he will set you up, and you don't have to take a tax hit because you're doing a rollover to a self-directed IRA where you're the manager, and yes, you can hold your assets in your own possession. A lot of these gold and silver and crypto IRAs don't do this because they don't know the paperwork. Get it in your own possession, because if it is not in your possession, you won't own it. You won't know what to do with it. You won't know how to get your assets back when the trustee of whoever you've given your cryptos to or your metal is gone and belly up and in bankruptcy, and you'll be waiting in line with everybody else. Now's the time to get it in your own possession. Perpetualassets.com. Anyway, read down here. This article on Business Insider is all about, it's these bad Reddit people. It's bullshit. Federal regulators and prosecutors are probing GameStop trading phenomenon. Authorities are investigating whether the army of Reddit traders took part in market manipulation. So it's okay for the hedge funds and the banksters to do it, but it's not okay for the everyday people. And it's millions of people colluding together. That is not collusion. That is recognizing a weakness in the system. Federal authorities are probing retail trading phenomenon that boosts shares of GameStop, AMC, and other highly shorted stocks throughout January, the Wall Street Journal reported. Prosecutors and regulators are investigating whether the frenzy of day trading was a form of market manipulation or other illicit activity. The Justice Department's fraud arm and the United States San Francisco U.S. Attorney are seeking information from brokerages and social media platforms that fueled the trading activity. There was a 150% short position on the total float, which means that shares available were maybe 20%. It means 4 or 5 times the size of the potential short was short. Why don't they investigate that? That's where the real crime is. It's just that millions of people found out what they were doing and called their bluff. This is the most obvious display of rigging the game for the bad guy criminal banksters. And I hope when all this is brought out in Congress, Maxine Waters stands up and says, I want the little guy to win. Because the little guys got together. It's a bunch of worker bees. They got together and said, screw you, Queen Bee. We're going to destroy you. The really good thing is this. Separately, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, that's the CFTC, the regulator for the COMEX, which is futures and options. That's only the big guys in there. That's only the banksters. The CFTC has investigated how the horde of casual investors aim to bid up silver by trading futures and a silver tracking exchange-traded fund, according to the report. Wall Street bets traders pivoted to silver shortly after GameStop fell back to earth. More recently, the crowd has targeted cannabis stocks for their next bullish bets. There are no Reddit traders in the COMEX trading silver. This is not Reddit people. This is Vertu Financial. This is JP Morgan. This is HSBC. These are the same criminals that have been rigging the market for decades. This has nothing to do with Reddit people on the COMEX. They are not on the COMEX. None of them are on the COMEX. So why is the CFTC involved? Because there is a link between the manipulation of silver and SLV. And look at the volume of SLV during that month. It is a direct link. There it is, right there. Does that look similar to this? Absolutely. This is Vertu Financial, JP Morgan, HSBC, Citibank, rigging the markets to control the price of silver. Price of silver hasn't changed. The price of silver has been flatlined. And yet millions and millions and millions of ounces are flying back and forth in and out of warehouses. Flying absolutely out of SLV. In the last 7 days, 50 million ounces have been taken up, and it didn't change the price at all. Tell me what market you can go in and spend, what is that, $50 million? 50 million ounces, 50 million times 26, $1.3 billion. Didn't change the price at all of physical silver. That's literally the physical silver is running out by all accounts. On the retail side, it's obvious. The U.S. Mint, every mint around the world has stopped making their coins or put them on allocation. And if you read Ronan Manuel's article the other day, there's only 15% of the 1,000 ounce bars left in London. That's insane. There's no silver left on the planet, and yet the price doesn't move, and doesn't move, and doesn't move. And is at 50% of its all-time highs in 1980. 50%. And in 2011. 50% of its all-time highs, whereas gold is more than double. If you have any gold, I beg of you, swap it out. Send Andy Scheckman an email and say, hey, I got gold. I need to swap out for silver as fast as I can while I can still get any silver at all. At a ratio of 67 to 1 right now, it's insane. And it's wrong. It is flat out wrong. It's going to 1 to 1. It'll probably go 1 to 10. When it's found out how much gold there is, Yamashita's gold, Chocolate Mountain gold, Grand Canyon gold, there's gold all over the place. 41% of California gold properties, the land in California, which is very gold rich, are controlled by Bureau of Land Management and owned by the federal government and not the state of California. Thanks to Dianne Feinstein. She locked it all up, locked all the gold in America in California and Arizona. Woodrow Wilson locked up the Grand Canyon. Are we going to rip open the Grand Canyon? No, not at all. But is there massive amounts of gold there? Absolutely. If you read Michelle Whitedove's latest, she talks about my theory of gold in the Grand Canyon. It's not even a theory. It's a fact. I've proven it a million times. I got Supreme Court cases proving it. And Michelle said, yeah, there's gold all over the Grand Canyon and all over America. What's that going to do to the gold-silver ratio when people find out, oh, there's not 200,000 ounces of gold that have ever been mined. It's more like 1 million or 2 million that we have in the ground. 10 times the amount of gold than what they're saying. And silver's running out. This is the no-brainer of a lifetime. The gold-silver ratio play is the no-brainer of a lifetime. Jenny and I talk about that on a spiritual level, too. Pretty cool. Anyway, yep. So that's what's going on. I do expect a big weekend in silver, even if the price doesn't do much. I expect the silver ETF to continue to be drained, and this is what's going to get them. This is getting them good. There is still 90,000 contracts open on the COMEX right now. Deliveries in 7 days. They got to either roll them over or close them out or do something or deliver the metal. I think it'll be the biggest delivery month ever. I think the biggest is around 85 million ounces. Ted Butler seemed to recall something back in the Hunt Brother days that might have been a little more. We're talking 450 right now with 90,000 contracts open. Yes, they always increase it by the end of the week, by the end of the month. 7 more days. 7 more days to close out 90,000 contracts. There's only 2 ways to close out a contract. Buy it back or deliver. Buy it back or deliver. They could do cash settlement. I would call that delivery. But they're in the hole so much money. These criminal short bankers, they would bleed if they had to buy back, somehow find the metal or buy back their contracts. They try to roll them over. Roll them over, roll them over, roll them over. Well, they're way behind this month. Anybody holding a May contract, good luck ever getting that. This system won't stay together between now and then. It's even under investigation. Even with JP Morgan's deferred, what was it called? Deferred prosecution? Something to that effect. Meaning they can't do anything or they're going to get screwed. And they're doing everything. Remember, they hold all the physical. They're the ones playing the shell game with leasing metal, with various warehouses where they count the same bars. Welcome to the criminality of America. It's very sad. All those hoping for the Great Reset, XRP to go crazy, and the Gestra and Nesra, Putin just shit on your entire idea. I knew it was going to happen. Oh my God, how many times do I have to go through this? I don't know. Oh, we got this. Here's the Nesra and Gestra. And sure, how about the Iraqi dinar? That was one of my favorites. How many people lost their shirt on that one? The quantum financial system, nobody even knows what that means. It's the most ridiculous system. It was imaginary. People screwing with you. Probably people trying to get out of XRP. Anyway, Putin said, no. As I said, you're not going to get the world to agree. And if one country, one of the biggest countries out there says no, it ain't going to happen. I'm sorry. The Great Reset, Putin says, not so fast. Did you ever happen to catch the most important political speech of the last 6 years? It would have been easy to miss given everything that's going on. In fact, I almost did, and his speech sits at the intersection of nearly all areas of my intense study. This is by Tom Lugango, something like that. The annual World Economic Forum took place last week via teleconference, what I call the virtual Davos. And at this year's event, of course, the signature topic was their project called the Great Reset. But if the WEF was so intent on presenting the best face for the Great Reset to the world, it wouldn't have invited either Chinese Premier Xi Jinping or, more importantly, Russian President Vladimir Putin. And it was Putin's speech that brought down the house of cards that is the agenda of the world financial system, the agenda of the Great Reset. The last time someone walked into a major international forum and issued such a scathing critique of the current geopolitical landscape was Putin's speech to the UN in September 29th, 2015, 2 days before he sent a small contingency of Russian air support to Syria. Here he excoriated not only the UN by name, but mostly the United States and its NATO allies by inference, asking the most salient question, quote, do you understand what you have done? Having unleashed chaos in an already chaotic part of the world. As important as the speech was, it was Putin's actions after which defined the current era of geopolitical Eurasian on the continent. Syria became the nexus around which the resistance ISIS is invincible narrative. The mystery of who is ISIS, namely the Obama administration, was revealed to anyone paying attention. Let's get to the meat of what he said this time. Now he's reached his limit, especially with Europe, and he set a firmly independent path for Russia, regardless of the short-term costs. And that's why his speech at the Economic Forum was so important. Putin hadn't spoken there for nearly a decade. In a time when the WEF controlled puppets dominated positions of power in Europe, the UK, Canada, and now the US, Putin walked into the virtual Davos and dumped his coffee on the carpet. In terms I can only describe as unfailingly polite, Putin told Klaus Schwab and the WEF and all Dick Allgaier's deep state dark controllers that their entire idea of a Great Reset is not only doomed to fail, but runs counter to everything modern leadership should be pursuing. Putin literally laughed at the idea of a fourth industrial revolution, Schwab's idea of a planned society through AI, robots, and merging of man and machine. He flat out told them their policies driving the middle class to the brink of extinction over the COVID-19 pandemic will further increase social and political unrest while also ensuring wealth inequality gets worse. Putin's no flower throwing libertarian or anything, but his critique of the hyper-financialized post-Soviet era is accurate. The era dominated by central banking and the continued merger of state and corporate powers has increased wealth unequally across the U.S. and Europe, benefiting millions while extracting the wealth of billions. Listening to Putin was like listening to a cross between Pat Buchanan and the late Walter Williams. According to him, the neoliberal ideal of, quote, invite the world, invade the world has destroyed the cultural ties within countries while hollowing out their economic prospects. Putin criticized zero-bound interest rates, QE, tariffs, and sanctions as political weapons. But the targets of these weapons, while nominally pointed at Russia, were really the West's own engines of vitality, as the middle class has seen their wages stagnate and access to education, medical care, and the courts to redress grievances fall dramatically. Russia is a country on the rise. So is China. Once their ties are embedded deeply enough to stabilize its economy, so too will Iran rise. Together, they will lead Central Asia en masse out of the 19th century quagmire that exists thanks to British and American intervention in the region. Putin's speech made it clear that Russia is committed to the process of finding solutions to all people benefiting the future, not just a few thousand holier-than-thou oligarchs in Europe. Wow, it's good stuff. Go to tomlagano.me. You can find this on Zero Hedge as well. Yeah, there's going to be no Great Reset. That was bullshit from the start. I don't know why people believe this stuff. There can be no deciders in this crash and then rebirth of something new. Anyway, you want to know timing? Go to roadrunner.com, go to the member section, hit subscribe today, and you can get access to the Ginny Moonstone ratings. This one's Theta Power, Q is still winning, and the timing of everything. Later today, I will be posting the all-important silver. I'm going to do a lot of editing, not taking anything out, but expanding upon it. Because Jenny reads the spiritual, what's going on up there. I'm down here reading the what's going on the planet as far as the gold-silver ratio is just, it should be screaming at you that there's no way to lose if you choose silver over gold. There is no way to lose. And those are the kind of bets you want to make. And the end of the manipulation means the absolute crunching of the gold-silver ratio to what it should be in the heavens and on the planet. And I will have a discussion, argument, debate with anybody that the gold-silver ratio should be closer to 1-to-1 than it should be at 67-to-1. And that is huge. That means silver should outperform gold by at least 67 times. Got any gold? Again, if you want to swap gold for silver, contact Andy Scheckman, Andy@milesfranklin.com, or if you want to get your silver. I will be talking to Andy in about an hour, and then I will post it at roadrunner.com. That's all I got for you. You guys take care. Buy a lot of silver. It's going to be a crazy weekend.